Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast where we explore dental photography, dentistry, personal branding, and the tools that help modern dentists grow, communicate more effectively, and stand out in today's digital world. I'm excited to have Dr. Serena Wong as today's guest. Serena is a highly trained cosmetic dentist based in Ottawa, Canada. She's not only known for creating beautiful smiles, but also for the way she documents and shares her work online. What I personally appreciate is that her social media isn't just about showing the final results. It also offers a behind the scenes look at everyday dentistry, the clinical decision making process, and the artistry involved in what we do. I think that's something both dentists and patients can learn a lot from. Serena, welcome to the podcast. It's a real pleasure to have you here, and I'm really excited about our today's conversation.
Hello, thank you so much for that introduction. I'm really happy to be here this morning.
Absolutely wonderful. So, Serena, for start, I would like to jump into a kind of topic that's becoming more relevant for dentists around the world. Do you feel that we as dentists, we really need social media today? I mean, is it becoming an essential part of our profession, or do you think like it's still something that is just simply nice to have?
I think that definitely social media plays a big role in today's dental world. It is something that you can extend to your patients to give them an eye into your world, what you're doing with patients, how you're treating them. Because of how fast things are moving in terms of patients are online, they are comparing across the board different dentists and what treatment they want to get. And they're not just going to their local dentist, they are looking to be able to travel even for dental work. And the biggest reason why I started my social media, I started it about 2 years ago, in fact. I was very nervous to be online for a very long time. I didn't know if I could put myself out there, but I needed a place to put my work so that I could have a portfolio to show patients before and after so that they could make informed decisions about what treatment they wanted, and also that they would trust me. And so I just took the jump. I remember it was my son's birthday, his 10th birthday. And I said, okay, I'm just going to do this. And it was really, really scary. But what I've learned in the last 2 years is that it's so important to have that out there, to have it as a communication tool, and to just let people see, like how patients are being treated, what kind of work you're doing. And it's very essential. Yes, I feel like today dentists almost have to have some sort of social media presence.
It's kind of interesting that during our program of training within university and dental school, we are not prepared for this.
Not at all.
we are learning these hard skills of treatment planning, some preparations for restorations, impressions, scanning, all that kind of stuff. And maybe even there is an introduction to this digital dentistry, but there's nothing about showing ourselves to the world, making our profession more visible and gaining trust on the base of that. This is for sure what happens in the Europe, in Poland. Is it the same in Canada? Or maybe it was when you were graduating like 15 years ago, as we mentioned before the recording. Do you think things got changed in time, or is it the same at this moment?
No, it's absolutely changed. When I graduated, there definitely was not so much social media going around. And it was really, I feel, in the last 10 years that it's been slowly creeping into the dental profession. And I did not get any training whatsoever in that at school. So it's definitely new and something that is very important, and that we're just learning as we go. We're not taught in this profession how to do this, and everyone's just kind of learning.
I need to confess myself. I've checked your Instagram profile very thoroughly before this meeting. I'm not a stalker or something, but I just want to know you a little bit better.
Of course.
And I have actually two conclusions. My first conclusion is that I like your Instagram. I like the vibe of it.
Thank you.
Well, I would like to ask you a couple of more questions about the Instagram. But my second conclusion is that in one of the posts, or maybe a couple of them, you've mentioned that you're an introvert. Now, it's a kind of like misleading because when I see you in front of the camera, when I see your recordings, your clips, everything there looks so natural. I mean, believe me or not, I'm also an introvert, and I know what it means to stand in front of the camera and say something which is natural, which is good, which has this impact, all that kind of stuff. So tell me about it. What's your method to do it in the way you do? Because I like it a lot, as I mentioned.
Well, thank you. I am an introvert, yes. And that's what makes social media really hard for me. But I think what continues to push me, two things. One, for patients, I like to focus on why I am putting something out there. And that's primarily to give information, as I said, to the patient so that they can understand what our practice is about, how they will be treated when they come into the office. And so I like to highlight them and what experiences that they've had. And then the second thing I would say is I heard a quote earlier on, and it was, don't say no to yourself. So every time you are hesitant to put something out there, you've already said no to yourself. You're so worried about other people making comments or criticizing, but you have done that to yourself. So just put it out there, be authentic, and the people who connect and appreciate you will do that, and people who don't will just scroll right past, and that's okay. But just to give yourself the opportunities, and even being on this podcast, I feel that, had I not taken that first step and just allow myself to be online, you wouldn't make these connections, or you wouldn't get to be in front of others to show what you can do and what kind of services you can provide. And so, yeah, I think that those things are what help me to make my content and then continue to be online, because it's not easy. It's really easy to compare with what others are doing and then think, oh, is my work good enough, or be afraid that other people are going to criticize or comment, but it's okay. You just need to keep going and tune everything out.
I mean, there will be always haters there on the internet, but most of the cases, those are people who want to do what you do. So probably in our case, we shouldn't worry about what people say. Just do our work, do what we feel it's good for our growth, also for our patient, as you mentioned. Now, what I've noticed also on your profile is that the clips that you do are very visual. I mean, what I really like is that every single post of yours, I'm now looking into your profile, they are in this ratio of 9:16, which is great because it covers the whole screen of the smartphone, which is really, really, really good because most of our audience is using their smartphones to check social media. But I want to ask you how much time does it take for your Instagram to look like that? I know the whole editing process is a little bit pain in the butt because it's not just a recording. It's not just standing in front of the camera and saying what you have to say. But then there is a whole process of editing so it looks as a final result. And people don't realize that it takes a lot of time and effort to do it in this way. I know. So tell me how you do it and how much time it really takes for you to have this kind of Instagram.
Well, so I've been doing this for 2 years, and I would definitely say that it takes a lot of time because, especially if you have a couple cases during the day, you want to take photos and video, you want to interview the patient. So you need to really book proper time for that, prepare the patient, and then think about what message you want to send to the audience. So you create in your head, okay, I want this emotion to come through. I want to show this before, after. I like to also pick something specific about that case that I want to showcase. So it's not just, okay, this is a good before after, but it's this patient's story, or I'm trying to show I'm lightening a dark tooth. How do I do that? So there's something specific about each case because then your audience can take home one thing. Otherwise it feels a little overwhelming if it's just, you're not focusing on a specific point. And then after you have all that, you still have to edit it, like you said. So you need to go back and you need to go through everything. It takes a long time. I can stay up pretty late trying to do it, and you get lost in it. You start and then hours go by, and then you wonder, okay, is this even like a product that I want to put up? But yes, it's very time consuming.
Do you use any special tools for that? For example, the AI maybe is helping you in some way?
I've started using AI to help me for sure for ideas, not yet for editing video. I use CapCut or Instagram edits. I just sort of taught myself it. I used AI to explain to me how to use some things when I get stuck. And I started, I was doing a lot of it on my own. And then we started using another company to help us. And now I am starting to offload some of that stuff because I have 2 kids and family.
Yeah, I know.
It's very hard to be on your phone and computer so much, especially when you get home, you want to spend time with them.
I know exactly what you mean. If you're a dentist, it's very difficult to be an influencer as well. I also believe in outsourcing. Rafael, who is behind the scenes, does everything for me. I mean, the whole conversation, the preparations for the podcast, it's him. He's all behind it because I wouldn't be able to do everything on my own. I mean, I believe that we as dentists, we have so much to think of, not because we are entrepreneurs. We take care of our patients, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we also want to spend some time with our family. You've mentioned you have 2 kids. I have also a teenager. So I have a wife, and it's too much. It's too much, but still, it's absolutely interesting, and it's something that it's worth living, right? But still, I mean, outsourcing is something that it's good to have. I also, noticed that what's really interesting about your Instagram profile is this lovely testimonials of your patient. And tell me, I mean, how did you convince your patients to stand in front of the camera and say something nice about your treatment? Because I mean, for sure, this is something that stands out. I love it. I just love these testimonials, and they are really honest opinions about your work. They really tell a lot about yourself, about what kind of person you are. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Not just you saying something about your passion to dentistry, but it's your patient after this wonderful makeover saying something about you and your passion. I mean, it's great, but tell me, how did you convince your patients to do it?
That's a great question.
I'm really curious.
I have to say that. What?
I'm really jealous.
Jealous?
Yeah.
So I develop a close relationship with my patients. Like when I do treatment, I really spend the time with them. I follow up to make sure they're comfortable, they're happy with their treatment. And to be very honest, I just thought of 5 people that I really connected with and that they were happy with their treatment. And they said yes right away. They said, yes, for sure. I want to tell people about it. So I think it starts with all the background work to their treatment, that you are not just their dentist, but you really become almost their friend. Like, they can trust you with anything. And then they, in return, want to tell people about the great experience they've had. They know a lot of people who haven't had good experiences. And so they're happy to share because they, as I said, they're happy. And I didn't have to convince them. They were just right on board right away. So I was very grateful for that.
So during the whole sessions of your treatment, you were building the trust.
Yeah,
with them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So after you've finished your work, you've decided to ask them for the testimonial like that.
Yep.
Wonderful.
I explained to them why I'm doing it. Some of them are shy. They don't want to be on camera. And I was actually very surprised. One of the girls was very shy, but I think the smile transformation really changed her.
Yeah.
She developed this confidence that was amazing, that she would be on camera and smile and talk about it. And that was incredible. And that really reinforced to me, why I love this job so much. To see the transformation in people, that's priceless to me.
Yeah, because she gained confidence because of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Serena, in general, why did you decide to be a dentist at first point? What's the reason behind that?
Well, I didn't know that I wanted to be a dentist. I actually was trying to find my way. I was in research and doing medical research, and I was not happy because it was not very social. You're in a lab working alone. And I was teaching piano at the time to many young children. And so there was a family, and the father, he's a dentist. He's still a dentist now. And every time he brought his kids, he would encourage me. And his wife was office manager. So she would also say, you should be a dentist. It's such a great profession. And, I was hesitant. I never had any dental issues myself. I go to the dentist and, it's just, you get your cleaning, you say hi to the dentist, and you leave. But then I decided to take up his offer and shadow him for a couple of days. And when I did, I just realized dentistry is so much more than that. And then I started looking into it and then decided to apply. And then the rest is, I guess that's how it started. The rest is history.
Exactly. Okay, so when you were studying, right? When you were being a part of dental school, did you know that you will become a cosmetic dentist, or were there other ideas for your career?
I did not know I wanted to be a cosmetic dentist. I didn't really know a lot about dentistry as I was going through dental school. When I graduated, I just started doing general dentistry, and then it slowly started to morph into this. So it wasn't like I was looking for it. And I think it has a lot to do with photography.
Oh, really?
So my husband, he was a wedding photographer. And
Whoa,
so he had a
that's
lot
the
of
story.
equipment. It's great. That's where I got my introduction into photography.
Nice.
He stopped doing that, but he had a lot of equipment. So he gave me some of his equipment,
All
and I
right.
just started playing around with it. And slowly, I didn't know how to use a camera even at the beginning, and then starting to get a little better photos, and then analyzing the before and afters and tweaking a little bit of like the technique and getting it to look better as I slowly improved with photography, and then also dentistry, because photography reveals things about dentistry that helps you get better. And then I joined the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. I was very intrigued by the beautiful work that people were doing. And then it became a challenge. Like, how do I get my work to disappear, to look like nature? And that's what took me onto this path.
That's very interesting because it normally, when someone decides to be a cosmetic dentist, to do this beautiful natural work, these direct restorations or these veneer cases, first of all, they came, and afterwards photography, because they want to show their work to the world. They start their profiles, all that kind of stuff. And in your case, it was actually the opposite.
The other way around.
You learned photography on your own, or did your husband teach you photography?
Well, he would definitely give me pointers and tips. I would say, I can't get my white balance, or something is overexposed, or I definitely would ask him, how do I do those little technical things? The main way I learned photography was going through the AACD process, and they have very specific shots that you need. So I would practice. Every new patient would get the same set of shots. Even if I wasn't doing cosmetic dentistry on them, I would just practice it because I knew I wasn't great at it. So I needed to put in the hours. And so, yeah, that's how I just sort of self-taught in a way, with some pointers on the way.
All right. So you have your own protocols. You have your own, which are learned. Do you, during because probably you do smile design, right? On the base of photographs. You do smile design?
Smile design, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of pictures do you take? Do you take videos, for example,
Yes.
along with photos?
Yeah, videos are so important because the dynamics of the lip as the patient's talking and smiling and laughing, that's very different from a static photo, especially because some people, they have learned to keep their lip down when they smile, especially if they're shy or embarrassed about a tooth. They've learned to do that. But then if you try to open them up and get them to actually talk about something in their life, I feel like one good tip when you're trying to video them is to ask them about themselves and something they're passionate about, and they will just open up, and then you can see how the lip moves. And then that's a very good communication tool to send to the lab as you're designing their smile. How important is the gingival margins? Do they show them? And then something that you can show patients as well, and when you're explaining treatment to them, why you're doing something.
Okay, so are you more into high volume practice or a boutique practice? Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, I do.
Exactly.
I'm very lucky to be in my practice. I'm very grateful because we are a high volume practice, but we have many dentists in the office. And so I have the ability to be more boutique, as you say. So I can slow down with patients and maybe spend, one patient one day or two patients in one day, depending on how much I want to work on them. So, but we have the support of all the dentists in the office. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do believe it's a kind of a dream come true for a prosthodontist, for someone who wants to have a very, very nice case.
Right.
Because you don't want to rush with these cases.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, retakes are something that obviously we want to avoid because it's something that we dislike. And also laboratories, our technicians, they don't like to make corrections, all that kind of stuff. So really, it takes a lot of time and effort with the patient, just hours within dental office with the patient itself, right?
Yes, absolutely. If you want to reach that level of perfection with them, and then especially if they've agreed to take before and after photos and they will let you post it, you will strive for that perfection. And so, yes, sometimes it can mean come back and take new photos once the gums have healed. And then maybe you want to do a little adjustments here or there. So yeah, it takes time. It's
it's a whole process, right?
The whole
and
process.
Also, as you mentioned, the pictures that you take at the day of delivery are not the best.
No.
Right? Because, periodontally, those patients are not great. They're not very healthy. It takes a couple of weeks, right, for them to be perfect, especially if you deliver something that needs to be bonded to the tooth itself.
Exactly.
So it really requires to have a very good connection with the patient and have a lot of time, but still, we should treat it as a kind of investment, right? Because if you got the pictures, this wonderful case, this before and after, and the patient agrees to be posted on your profile, I mean, it's a kind of great investment, right? Which will probably will lead to other cases. So tell me, do you have any difficulties in asking patients for posting their image? Because from my experience, there is no problem with posting pictures that involve just someone's lips, smile, and that's it. But if you are posting their whole image of the face, which obviously I think they are the best pictures befores and afters, because they really show someone's smile. They really show everything.
Yeah.
Are you having difficulties in that?
Oh, yes.
Because I need to tell you that in Europe, it's really difficult. People don't want to show themselves in the internet.
Yeah, for sure. There are some patients that you can tell, or even if you ask them right away, they say no. And that's just I would say a lot more patients will say no to that than to allow their full face photo. So it's just kind of, maybe it's part of the culture, but also like depending on your patient, who you have, for sure. I have the same difficulty.
Yeah, but just keep trying, right?
Just keep
trying. Do
trying.
your stuff and keep trying, right?
Yeah. And I think if I ask patients to go to my Instagram page and to look at how other patients have been portrayed on them. I think they're afraid that, maybe they won't like how you put them or the image that you give them. And so some people, after they see it, they realize, okay, this is educational, one. And two, they like the vibe of the page. So they're like, okay, yes, that's okay. So I think if they connect with that, then they will more likely say yes, I think.
All right. Do you think that Instagram and your profiles really help you to get another cases like that?
I think it's slowly building. I don't have currently a lot of followers, and that's okay. I mean, I didn't initially start posting for that reason. It was to have a portfolio of cases, because patients would come in and I would be going through my computer and I would be, showing them, and trying to find them. So this way it was just something that, okay, let's just open the page. Everything is there. And, but I do think that it does attract people who are looking for that kind of work, especially now that I am doing more composite veneers, that, that specific niche, when people find it, then they would like to have that. So I think it's slowly starting to grow and build. But for now, it's just, as I said, a page to connect with others and to show my work.
So I saw you lately did this residency in Dr. Hansen place.
Yes.
He's not very popular in Europe, but as I know, he's popular in US and
Canada. Yeah.
So tell me afterwards, are you more into direct restorations or veneer cases?
So I would say that I use it as another tool in my toolbox for patient's case. So very case specific. I love using composite for the conservative aspect of it, and also being able to add the artistry in chairside. And it's very customizable, the procedure itself. You can adjust length, color, shape, everything to the patient's needs right there and then. I mean, it's very much like putting temporaries when you're doing porcelain veneers.
Like mock-up.
Sorry?
Like mock-up.
Exactly, like a mock-up. But you're doing it on, they call them frameworks. He calls them frameworks. And so it's one base color of composite. You can just do all the shape, length, everything, adjust, and then you cut back and add in all the artistry. It's a very beautiful technique. It gives seamless margins, glass-like finishes, and I love the technique. I think it isn't for every single case. So still using porcelain is still an option that I offer. And so I still use both. I think it's just being able to do whatever, and you give the patients pros and cons of what each technique does, and then they choose an option, and you're able to do both. I think that's what I love the most.
Do you feel that doing these direct restorations surely gives a wonderful result, but it is such a time-consuming process?
Yeah.
I mean, it requires a lot of skills. It requires very, very detailed work. And from my own experience, because I also like to do bonding, direct restorations as well, but as soon as I grab my camera to do after shots, I see a lot of some minor defects that I really dislike. I mean, some scratches, some areas where it needs to be polished a little bit more, other areas where I see that there is something below the of composite that should be covered, all that kind of stuff, which would be avoided if you just outsource it to the dental lab and ask for porcelain veneers. I mean, this is my point of view. Tell me about your point of view, because you do this treatment and you also do photographs afterwards.
Yeah. So before I went to the Marshall Hansen residency, I was still struggling with composites. I mean, I'd taken a lot of composite courses and I was getting better, but exactly as you said, once you take the camera out and you blow that picture up, you start to see all the imperfections. And it's, for me, in my hands, it's the effect of layering the composite that created all of those little scratches, imperfections. So when I went to the Marshall Hansen residency, he has a very nice system, very systematic from beginning to end, how to do these composite veneers. And it's the technique of how to do it, which creates a result that gives you these flawless restorations. it's not layering. You're building up the whole thing and then you're cutting it back, and then your final layer, you cover the entire surface, so you don't have a seam line. So it's specifically the technique actually that gives you that result. But as you said, it's time consuming. Your patient's in the chair for a long time. But so when you do porcelain veneers, behind the scenes, the ceramist is sitting there for hours building those teeth. So you are the ceramist, right? You're doing that right there. So you also have to think about the patient. Are they able to sit in the chair? That might not be a good technique for someone who has a lot of back pain, who can't sit for a long time. So then you have to move to porcelain. So those are kind of some deciding factors on what you choose.
So do you believe that this handsome method is very unique for direct restorations? Because you've mentioned you were attending the previous courses, which also were related to direct restorations. Me too. And I can tell you that I still feel a need to learn more because of the factors I've mentioned.
Yeah. Well, he created, I should say, a specific type of matrix. So it's like a Mylar matrix, but it has a specific, you wrap it around the buckle and you have a very specific dimension to those matrices. So you get a very good seal. The technique itself, I would say it's, I'd heard of it, but I don't know anyone who's put that together in a program, like a residency, and taught it from beginning to end. So there's a lot of influence from many different aspects or avenues, but it was just a program that's very cohesive. You're there for 2 weeks at a time. I did 2 weeks. I stayed there and learned it. Some courses you go for a couple of days and then you try to incorporate some of it, but you don't get all the feedback, right? You don't get to sit there and actually do it and have someone watch over your shoulder and say, oh, you should correct this. It's a technique that you need that kind of like direct feedback right away if you're going to get proficient at it.
Right, Serena, time flies as we go with our conversation. We have a lovely conversation, but there is weekend. So we have other also activities today. So what I want you to ask is last questions. Now, focus, because this is something that will be not only for our audience, but also for my students. As I'm a lecturer, I have a lot of students who might ask me for my recommendations, what to do afterwards, on that kind of stuff. So imagine you have the ability to travel in time.
Yeah.
You are Serena, you have your 15 years of experience and you travel in time to the moment you graduate studies. So you and Serena from that time meet, and what would you tell her? What would you tell her having this years of experience and knowledge today, so that her career will go in a different way, or maybe in the same way? What would you suggest her to do if you were in her age and starting today?
I would say to her that all of your efforts that you put into attending CE and spending money towards investing yourself is going to be worth it. That when I started, I felt like I was doing a lot of courses and trying to improve myself, but not seeing the results. And it was frustrating. It was like, I'm spending a lot of money and a lot of time, and I don't see improvement. And I would just tell myself to be patient, that this is going to happen inevitably if you continue to pour into yourself, but it doesn't happen right away. And try and find those mentors and reach out. Now with social media, it's so easy. You find someone's technique or you like what they're doing, reach out to them. And a lot of people are very kind to share and to give you their advice and experiences. Don't be shy doing that. I would also tell myself, jump into the world of social media and get yourself in there earlier. I mean, I started 2 years ago. It's pretty late in my career, but even so, I would say just do it and don't say no to yourself. Give yourself the opportunities. And yeah,
it's always easier to say than to execute.
It's always easier. Exactly. In hindsight, you can tell yourself that, but hopefully
I do think that in this mid-40s, we have the tendency to do things that we are afraid of, but we still do it. And when we were younger, we were afraid of doing things and we avoided them.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, because the years of experience and general gaining knowledge and experience in life cause that we are shifting to a little bit different way of thinking. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree.
I completely agree. In your 30s, you are more worried about others' opinions, and maybe you don't go chase your dreams because you're just afraid of what people will say. And then something switches in your 40s. You just decide, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, and it doesn't matter what anyone says.
All right, wonderful. Serena, thank you so much for joining me today. I mean, it was a really, really pleasure talking with you. And thank you for sharing your experience and insights with us. Thank you for also you. To everyone watching or listening, I really appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now. Thank you, Serena, a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.